Hey there everybody, Ashley from Dreamweaver Technology, and I just wanted to post a video to kind of explain why the figurines come up as different colors and different rainbow spectrums. So that way, when you do place your order and you're like, oh, well, only these certain pictures are showed, and I really wanted this one, but I got this one instead, it's the pose that I wanted, but not the right color. Well, the colors that I print are kind of like special one-time features. I can't always get the same rainbow effect in the same figurine. So I'm definitely trying to update my website so that way it shows all of the possible options. I will put this disclaimer up there, but let me post a video as to why these things are going on. It's actually a cool learning experience on my end. So I'm going to flip the camera around so that way you can see. Okay, so let me back it up some. This is just a quick setup. A lot of the figurines, as you can see, have already been taken apart, and some are just placed on here as a show of how they come off the printer. So, if you look here, this is my newest shiny rainbow filament. It changes colors, and depending on how many figurines I print in one shot, changes the color. So, this is a great example. No, that's too far away. All right, this is a great example. So the red and purple ones were all printed together. This one was printed flat like this, and all of these were printed up the way that you see them now. And the supports have been taken out of them, so that way, you know, they're ready to be sold. So when you look at these, like this one, she only has purple in the very edge of her plate because she was printed flat like this instead of up and down like this. And then these, like this one, has just a little bit of purple on her and then red for the rest of it. And that's because she was printed like this on the plate. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Like, we'll get a little bit closer look on this one. This one shows the gradient a little bit more. So it's red on the bottom, purple on the top, and that's because the printer, of course, starts right near the base plate and prints up. So like in another video I posted, if you imagine a stack of papers, it prints in a stack of papers is the idea that you're going for. These actually just loosened off the base plate. So this was the next set of colors to come up after I printed these. So if you come over here to this group I actually have, oh, I missed one. There. This group I actually have laying down, not exactly how they came off the printer because I couldn't remember how I fit them all together, but this was all one print. It actually took a whole 24 hours for me to wait and let my printer run and cross my fingers that I didn't get a misprint, because then all the figurines that I printed would be destroyed. But that's why in these, like this one, you can see it on the plate, has 3 different colors, because the filament, as it's printing, has to stretch between all of the figurines. So they came out, some have a little more orange than others, some don't in general have as much. Like this one over here doesn't have quite as much orange because of how she is oriented and the way the filament comes out. So on her body she has a little bit of orange, but on the plate she has a lot more orange because it prints, like I said, like a stack of papers, starting at the base plate and going up from there. You also have to account for the fact that there are supports in the figurines, because the machine, yes, it can just print the figurine and call it good, but since it's printing as a stack of papers, there's nothing for all of the pieces and parts to attach to, because I've tried this. You end up getting misprints out of it because there's nothing for the filament to attach to, and it just goes along and prints and doesn't really know what it's doing. So by supports, what I'm talking about is this stuff right here. So these I haven't quite taken all the way apart. As you can see, that one's partially broken apart. I don't think I got very far. But they print with these things called supports. This one prints on the bed, just like this. And so it's printing all the way until it's done. And then if you orient the figurine different, then the supports, of course, are going to print different. I used to print these facing up and down like this. And not only was it a lot of material wasted where you can see my fingers, because it's putting a big amount in between the back of her and the base plate right here, what she's sitting, or what she's like standing on and holding on to. but it was incredibly hard to get out without breaking them. So what I learned is if you orient the figure different, then it's going to print different. It's going to use less material to print the supports throughout here. It's going to be a little bit easier to get out. So, it's still a learning process for me. I only started this business in February 2020, and currently taking this video, it is May 1st, 2020. So I've learned quite a lot doing this. But like I said, so if we go back here, I printed these guys first on this rainbow filament. And so these were all the colors that came out. Had I saved the, what is it called? The raft, which is this right here. This right here is called a raft. It gives something for the material to attach to, and it makes it so it comes off the base plate easier. And so it prints a raft, which of course, as you can see, takes up part of your color. And then as the gradient is rolling, it starts changing color, which is what it's supposed to do. That's fantastic. That's why I like printing so many at the same time, because then you get more of the color gradient, where if you go and you look at this one, I printed her by herself, so she's all, one color. There's a couple others that I've printed by themselves that are out of the rainbow filament, which the rainbow filament that I printed like these guys out of is not currently up. I changed my filament recently. This was a single color roll. It's this really, really pretty purple glitter. I did run into issues with the glitter because it kind of gets stuck in the nozzle, which when we're explaining nozzle, if you look over here, let me see if I can catch it. It is this little tiny gold triangle right there. That's the nozzle that the filament comes out of. So it was getting caught in there. At least I think that might have been the issue with it. It could have been because towards the end, the filament actually absorbs water that comes from, the air. You take showers, because I'm in my house, and so the humidity changes, day-to-day humidity changes. So the filament tends to change sometimes, and sometimes you have to print a little bit with a couple misprints, and then the printer starts working. But I digress. Back to what I was talking about. These were the first set that I printed. They took 24 hours to print, including the raft. They went from this really pretty blue to this green to this orange. Now in this, I personally thought they were okay, but a lot of people are like, no, these are really cool because they have so many colors in them. So that's great. I was excited that people liked them. I wasn't 100% sure. The next group of figurines that I printed are all of my red and purple ladies. So if you imagine the rainbow, it went from blue, green to orange, and then it stopped because this is the top of the print, so it was all done. Then you come over here to these guys, and they don't have any orange in them. That's because the raft that they were printed on, this bottom plate stuff right here, okay, it's got its own amount of thickness depending on how big it is. As you can see, this one has both figurines on it, will use up a lot of filament. So there's no orange in these, but the next color to come up was this really shiny, pretty red color. And then right after that is purple. Now, it's not like a perfect rainbow. It's a rainbow gradient that just changes. I've had a couple different rolls, and they don't follow, your normal red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Well, maybe this one does. Red, purple. I don't know. Anyway, I've got another filament that's not exactly following a rainbow, but it's classified as a rainbow filament. So these ones were printed, okay, and they printed all the red and then the purple. The next thing I printed right after that was this one, and that's why it's got a lot of purple in it here on the bottom, but then it also has the really pretty blue, because that's the next color to come up in the filament. So when it comes to like the figurines that I showed you that look like they're one solid color, it's most likely because I hit a really good sweet spot, or I didn't print very many of them at the same time. Like this one's brand new. I just redesigned her from my FU Meditate to be more of the idea of meditation across the globe, meditation 2020. I'm trying to catch that 2020 in there, but it's right here in the globe. And that's kind of a little bit of a movement that's going on. I was really hoping that people would really like that idea, because as we've been stuck in our homes, we've had to rely on a lot of technology to really reconnect with each other and be able to have that human interaction, even though we can't stand next to each other and be next to each other and, unfortunately cough on each other, which is where all the problems ensued. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, this one came because now, since we're stuck at our homes more, let's take the time to learn something new. Like, meditation is awesome. You take yourself to a whole different place. You learn to think about things that are bothering you, how to let go. Awesome idea. If you don't meditate, definitely send me a message. I've got a couple links for you that are super awesome of some companies that I've been working with that are offering free ways to learn meditation. It's great. Definitely send me a message. I'll send you their way. So back to what I was talking about. And I have a couple different rainbow filaments. Now, stuff like this is a clear filament that I have. Well, it's not, I don't know, clear, transparent, it's not focusing. But on the inside of the figurines, if I can get my camera to focus, it's trying to focus on the really pretty flowers because they're awesome. So in the inside of it, you see how it's got a thickness to it? On the inside, there's this stuff called infill. You can kind of see, you can see these really good in the sunlight. Let me see if I can catch it. There you go. See? Oh, let's zoom in. There we go. So on the inside, you see these little lines? That's called the infill. And that also gives the machine something to attach to when it's printing. So not only do you have supports to consider and raft to consider, but you also have the inside of what is inside the figurines. And unfortunately, I took a picture of it, but I don't have the piece that I had. Hold on, let's see if we can get it to focus again. There we go. I don't have the piece that I had that printed partway and stopped. So I'd be able to show you that a little bit better. I do have a picture. You'll have to check out my Instagram. I'll load it up there and try to set up the links between this video and that photo so you can understand what I'm talking about. But on the inside of the figurines, they're not solid. I could get them to print solid, but you know, then that seems like a lot of material to use for not really the greatest payout. They're pretty strong the way that they are. So what I'm doing is working. That, and it allows for the gradient to shift. So there's a lot of different factors that go into why the figurines are colored the way that they are. So that is definitely something I'm going to work on marketing for you consumers, is to let you know that yes, you're buying a specific figurine, but you are not buying the specific color. So it's just whatever color happens to come up in the print is what you're going to get sent. They're all beautiful. I make sure to have as many different options as I can. And if I can get the printer to work just right, like say you wanted, you know, the metal finish figurines that I have, but you wanted it in mainly gold. I can try my best, but at least it'll be in the metal finish, because my metal finish is this one right over here. And it does less of a gradient in it. It actually looks really, really pretty. I print these frogs, these little Buddha frogs. And this one's got a lot of gold. The next color to come up is kind of a coppery color. So if you wanted a metal finish, then, you know, I could print you a metal finish. I will put that option up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this filament, because what I found with this one is I went to go order more because it's my absolute favorite filament I've ever printed with so far in the last few months, and I can't find it yet. So just know that the figurines that you're ordering are the figurines that you're ordering. They just come in different colors because in order for me to print in one specific color, I'd either A, have to order just one color filament, and not everybody is going to order a blue, a blue plow pose or a blue meditate, and I have to switch out the filament all the time. It seems like a lot of work for not really a lot of payout. But when you look at stuff like these guys, this is a really good payout. Like, that's really pretty. That's super neat how it turned out. And this actually printed like this on my big bad machine. This one's the one with the rainbow filament that changes quite quickly. So I only printed these two for this particular print. And it did this really pretty gradient to it. And when you stack them on top of each other, they look really cool. Then the next one to print was this. So as you can see, raft included, well, not included, raft detached. But in the way that the filament is printing, you have the really dark color on this one. That's how it finished. The next print I did was this one. And so on the bottom, it's darker than it is on the top. And if we take a look at the roll, let me just put it right here. If we take a look at the roll, It looks like it's kind of hard to tell, but if you look right there, it's the pink filament that's coming up next. And I want to say yellow is probably going to come up after that, because if you look, it looks like it's unraveling from this side, from the left to the right, and the right is definitely thicker. So I believe yellow is the next to come up. And oh, look, this is a good shot. See how much that changes and how quickly that changes? Like there's some green down there. There's reds and really vibrant blues, like these really pastel pretty blues are on the top. So I'm really excited to print a lot of stuff with this one. I'm still fine tuning it. It's not printing exactly the way that I want to. So it's all a learning process. But then when you look at this one, its color gradients are a whole lot bigger. So when I print more figurines in one shot, they end up getting the gradient. But if I print less, they don't get quite as much. Like I lucked out in this one. I guess I had enough purple used that between the raft and all the supports on the inside and just general print of the figurine, this one was able to come out as a purple and a blue. But then you come over here and these had a whole bunch of figurines, raft included, supports on the outside of the figurines, infill on the inside to hold the figurine up itself. Then you get 3 colors in them, and that's pretty cool. You know, it does take a long time for them to print. It's a matter of leaving the machine on for a whole 24 hours. I can't print anything on it because it's not like I can stop the print, take it off, print something else, then go back to it. It doesn't work that way. It has to print until it's done, and then I can take it off and start another print. So, you know, I'm still playing with it. I still am learning as we go along, but I am definitely loving everything that I've got. So some of these guys down here were some of my first prints. These are actually the very first couple of warriors that I made. And like this one, you can barely see it. I can see it. Let me see if we can see it in this light. It's too shiny. You can kind of see it. There's a bluer side on the right and a greener side on the left. But for the most part, she turned out as one figurine. I think I only had like 3 of her print at the same time. This one you can kind of see it where it's green on the right, yellowy on the left. And they were printing, you know, laying down. That's why I have them laying down like this, because that's how I printed these ones. This one, yeah, this one was also laying down. So this is how they all printed on my machine because, you know, it was easier to get the sports out, blah, blah. I already explained that part. Now, the other thing that I wanted to explain to you is generally, there we go. Generally, the figurines turn out amazing. Like the detail on these little guys. Can't get it to focus. There. The detail on these little guys is great. You got a belly button, you got their face, you got their ears. You can see, I can't twist my hand anymore. Hold on. You can see their fingers, you can see their toes. Like they are great and they're really smooth on one side. But when you flip her over, she's got this rough side on her. Now I do try to trim that off as much as possible. I use a nail file and smooth it out so that way you don't pick it up and you're like, ow, something poked me. Because nobody likes that. But this is the side that the supports were on. Just like these guys. So one side of them where the supports are all attached to, as you can see, it's kind of rough. But the rest of the figurine is really soft, really smooth, not pokey, super, super beautiful. So I really hope that helps, you know, my consumers understand that yes, you're going to get the same figurine every time, but no, it's not going to be in the same color. And, you know, once I get a little more movement going on, maybe I will invest in just single colors that I print, 5 or 6 figurines of, and then that's a color that I have available. But as it stands right now, I'm really enjoying the rainbow and just watching how it changes, watching how each one is different. And, you know, thanks for checking in and watching this video. I know it's a little wordy and a little long. Totally not going to edit it. I'm just going to post it the way that it is because I love making raw videos. My hair's all crazy and sticking up. You know, I've been dealing with kids 900 miles an hour. My house is too hot. I don't know why, but it's stupid hot. And, you know, we're all just trying to get through this nonsense of being stuck in our homes, which is honestly safer. And I did want to point out, I did try to look into 3D printing some masks for hospitals and trying to do my part with the machines that I have. But unfortunately, a couple of the nurses and stuff that I know were like, nah, that's not something we can really use right now. And the key word is right now. So if it ever does get to the point where I can help and my 3D printers are printing rainbow masks that I can fill with the infill fibery stuff that keeps everybody safe, I'm going to do it. And I would love for you guys to, send me some information. I will put my link to my email down below. I can link you to my Instagram, and that way you can get a hold of me however you want. I would love to learn. Also, speaking of learning, one last thing. If you want to learn more about 3D printing, I am working on ideas for videos to teach you more about what I'm doing, because I would love to teach you how to make these machines work, how to troubleshoot them if you have issues, because I've had a lot of issues and it's a lot of playing with numbers that might scare people away from like the math and stuff like that. But the programs are fairly easy to use. It does take some time. I've been doing this for a couple of months. I've been doing research. I watch other YouTube videos, and if this is something that you're truly interested in, please send me a message. I currently use an Ender 3 Pro, 2 of them, and I use a G-Tech A20M, which is the big boy in the middle. These guys. Let me back up a little bit. Ender 3 Pro, G-Tech A20M, Ender 3 Pro. So that way, those are what I use. There's tons of printers out there. The other one I really recommend that I did a lot of research on that I don't have enough room for another printer right now is a Pressa Mini. Those are really nice. They're a lot smaller machines. You can't print quite as big of stuff, but I don't really print stuff to the full potential of my machines currently. And so that's not a big deal. But they're minis, so you can print little things and make little stuff for yourself, even if you're not trying to do it as a business. If you're trying to do it just to occupy your time and learn something new, please do it. It's a great investment. And if you find that it's not for you, I'm sure there's somebody that'll buy it from you. They're a couple $100. It's something that is super fun and you can enjoy it, or you find that you don't like it and whatever. You get most, I don't know, whatever. You get some money back out of it. So that's always exciting. And yeah, thanks for stopping in. Again, Ashley with Dreamweaver Technology. You can find me on Instagram. I have a website. I've got an email address. And I would just love to connect with you and either teach you, answer more questions, shoot me some ideas for videos of questions that you have, and, let's keep learning together. Bye, guys.